Let me try connecting with Zoom. All right, I'm going to end this video and I'm going to delete it. And then I'll send you a message on Messenger and let you know if I was able to connect on Zoom. Hey. It just crashed. Hey, are you there?
Yep.
All right, it keeps crashing, so I'm just gonna say to hell with it, and we'll record this. And yeah, what a pain. But oh my God, I'm so sorry about that.
No, that's totally fine. You know what? It's so much better to go through this with people you know than it is to be like scheduled with somebody that you haven't worked with a whole lot and you're like, oh man.
So yeah, when I do my next interview in a couple weeks, I think I might just record that and post it and just call it a good. But
Well, I was going to tell you, I I haven't practiced with two people, but I have tried StreamYard.
hmm.
It's, it's another subscription one, which is a pain, um, but I like how simple it is, and you can stream just like Zoom to multiple things. So I don't know if it's a Zoom thing or a Facebook thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I know Be Live is a good one.
Oh, is it? Let me write that down too. I'm actually researching to find a good one that I can use as like my default
Yeah.
for this kind of stuff. I'll check
Yeah,
out Be Live too.
yeah, I know quite a few people that use that, but again, it's another paid service. So,
Mm-hmm.
what I had intended for the month of February, I'm trying to create like themes for the month, and this month is like living life with intention and purpose. And January, we spent a lot of time talking about goal setting and a lot of the things that you can do to help you achieve your goals. Number one, defining your goals, coming up with the steps to reach your goals, and then how to, go through and complete the steps. And so what I'd really like to talk to you about is, as a habit change coach, what would you recommend as a really good way for somebody who is trying to live their life with purpose and intention? So say, someone is deciding, like, you decided you wanted to be a habit change coach, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that you have decided is part of your intention or your purpose. So you said, okay, I want to be a habit change coach, so this is what I'm going to do. So for somebody who has decided that, they're going to follow their passion, or they're going to lead their life with more intention and purpose, and they're trying to make shifts in their life to kind of get rid of old habits, get rid of old people, things like that. What would you recommend, would be the simplest ways that they could, number one, go about doing that, and number two, actually achieve results?
I love that you're doing intention, because that's the key to habit change. And one of there's two main things. The first thing is going to be to identify why you want to make the change, or why you want to go after this particular purpose or goal. So once you define why, then it's a matter of, like you said, working with intention and setting yourself up for success. So a good example for me that I use is, in order for me to make my goal, then I need to make action steps that I know for sure that I can succeed at. And if I don't, then I know I need to slow down. So I think the biggest challenge is not wanting to make change too quickly. So first figure out why you want to change, and you're going to attach emotion to that why. So you really want to know, I want to be a habit change coach. Why do I want to be a coach? Because I love to see women grow and do the best that they can and be the best version of themselves. And that is an emotional attachment for me. It actually makes me feel good. And so whenever I get to a place where I have a block or I'm struggling, then I can go back to that emotion and say, you know what, this is why I'm working hard. And being intentional is huge. I had a conversation with a client just recently who's been trying to not eat sugar. And so she's been very intentional about when she does. She hasn't accepted the fact that she can do completely no sugar. She's slowly taking sugar out. So what she does is, she had a meeting to go to, and she knew they were going to have sugar there, in snacks and treats and stuff like that. So she intentionally said, I'm going to take one cookie, just one, and I'm going to take it home, and I'm going to split it with my husband. And so by doing those steps, she was able to be successful, because she knew, I'm still going to get some cookies. I'm just not going to fill up a whole plate of them and take them. I'm going to be intentional about it and say, I'm going to have half of one, and I'm going to split it with my husband. And she made another example, which I loved, with she was baking cookies and for her husband's work. And she said, when I'm not intentional, I end up overdoing it. So she was kind of eating cookie dough as she went and stuff like that. And so her and I talked about it, and she said, next time I'm going to measure out how much cookie dough I'm going to allow myself to have. So that way, again, I'm being intentional about it. I may not even eat all the stuff that I give myself, but at least I'm giving myself something. The struggle with changes like that is making them all at once, saying, I'm not going to eat sugar ever again.
Yeah.
That's setting yourself up for failure, because it's really hard. It's making those commitments that you can follow through with, and be intentional about it when you do want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, if something happens, like, she did go to the meeting, and she had the intention to go and only have one cookie and take it home and split it with her husband, but she looked at the cookies and they smelled really good and they were fresh out of the oven, and she couldn't resist the temptation and had to eat it, to not beat yourself up over it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we all make mistakes, and it's recognizing that you're making the mistake and making a conscious choice to just try better next time.
Mm-hmm.
different.
And enjoy your mistakes. I mean, I don't like to call them mistakes because it's just choices. Nothing's right or wrong, really. And there's always a positive intention around it. So even if you lose control, and like for me, I love cake and I eat 2 pieces of chocolate cake, instead of saying that was bad and I shouldn't have done that, it's more, you know what, I know better. And the reason I did that is to remind myself that I don't want to do that.
Right.
It's like making that positive spin out of it. Like, I'm not going to beat myself up. That just proved to me that I do need to work on this habit a little bit better and do better next time.
Yeah. I have a girlfriend who was just telling me she tries to abstain from alcohol, and she hasn't really drank in quite some time. And she went out on Saturday night with some girlfriends and imbibed a little too much and ended up having to figure out while she was drunk how to download the Uber app and get it to work to get her home.
Oh no.
So she was saying, instead of feeling sorry for myself and beating myself up for making this bad choice, she's like, it was just a reminder to me of why I chose to stop drinking alcohol or to stop drinking as much. And I was like, that's actually, a pretty good way to put it. Instead of beating yourself up over it, just saying, you know what? It's just a reminder.
Yeah.
What happens when you do things that you really know that aren't in your best interest?
Yeah, they're reminders and they're learning experiences. I like to look at anything that I do that might make me feel bad, which we do. We're human. It's going to happen. But you can get out of the bad feeling quicker when you say, what did I learn from that experience?
Right. Mm-hmm.
It makes it a little less painful.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I know I do the same thing, like I missed working out a couple times and I wanted to beat myself up over it, but then I looked at it and said, there was a reason why I missed those days working out, and you know what? I'm exactly where I need to be.
Mm-hmm.
I made up. I didn't make up for it, because when you make up for something, like particularly a workout, you're really putting yourself in a negative space. So instead of like making up for it, I made it part of like my routine that week to go an extra day at the gym instead of just saying I missed out altogether. So it's not like I went to the gym on my normal day and then like did twice as much work. I went to the gym another day that I don't normally go and did an additional workout to kind of make up for it, but not really like push myself so hard because I was upset that I didn't do it. So
Yeah, I think giving ourselves that grace, I think that's the hardest part. We're so hard on ourselves. And I think that's the biggest thing. When you're being intentional, you're less likely to beat yourself up because
yeah,
you're basically giving yourself permission to
yeah,
do the things that you're doing. Um, and that's partly like there's times when I feel, because I work here at home and I'm doing something I love, that you get that feeling of like, I love this. How is this work? Like, like I kind of feel bad. I love what I do. It's like, no, wait a minute. We're supposed to love what we do. We shouldn't be going to a job or doing something that makes us miserable, because we work most of our life, not just here or there. Most people work a huge portion of their life. So you want to enjoy what you're doing. And I think we just, for some reason, we go to that negative space, I think, a little too often, and are hard on ourselves.
yeah. It's so easy though, because the monkey mind continually reminds us of all the bad things and all the negative things, and you knew you couldn't do this, and who made you who are you to think that you could make changes, and all that crazy stuff. It's really so when somebody gets into that space, and so say your client that went and she took the cookie home. So if she went and ate half a dozen cookies at the thing and then started beating herself up over it, besides using it as a way, because sometimes it's not really easy to say,
Mhm.
this is my lesson, this is what I learned. What else would you recommend that somebody do to kind of get out of the negative headspace? Because that's where our mind always wants to go to. It wants to remind us of how bad we are, how horrible we are, how fat we are, how ugly we are, how nobody loves us, you know.
Yeah. One of the things I like to ask, and it's kind of a confusing question because it takes a minute to think about it. Um, and it's, what would be bad about you being able to resist sugar? So it's taking what she's trying to do and saying, what's bad about that? Because you're self-sabotaging for a reason. And so eating extra cookies, that's your way of coping with something. So tell me what's going on behind that. What would be bad about quitting sugar altogether? And that question usually takes a really long time for people to answer. But what comes out of that is, well, I don't believe that I can, or I feel like I'm just going to end up going back to the way I was. So the fear of, I'm going to quit sugar and it's going to be great, but then I'm going to fall off the wagon and go back to sugar. So why should I even bother? Let me just stay in the sugar. And so things like that, you can really start learning what's driving that. And our brain, there's 3 basic needs that your brain looks for. And it's love, safety, and belonging. And it goes to that place in order to be comfortable. And so from this client, when she was in college, she was away from home. And the college that she was at, she got free meals, and it wasn't good food to have, but she got them free. And so it was kind of like, it was comfort food. And she was away from home, and she was by herself, and she was in a lot of really challenging classes, and the food became her comfort. So there was a positive intention to make her feel loved, safe, and belong by eating that comfort food. And so now her brain craves that. So just knowing that, she can start to kind of pick it apart and go, I don't need that anymore. I'm not back in college. I need to tell my brain that I'm okay, that we don't need to have sugar to feel that way. And she can start replacing the sugar with other things that make her feel those emotions. And a lot of people don't realize that their subconscious brain is doing a lot of the driving.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about that in January.
Yeah.
How I working as a mindfulness coach, trying to go from what I call unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence. So everything that we do is habit, right? Habit, habit. We get up same time, we have the same routines, we brush our teeth the same way, we find our clothes the same way, we go to work the same way. And it's really difficult to really break those habits. And a number of times we don't even realize that we have these habits. And I'm always asking people to call me out on stuff. Like, I'm trying to do things differently. If you see me doing this, and like, say, hey, are you supposed to be eating that, or are you supposed to be doing that, or are you supposed to be going there? Because we do it so automatically that we don't even realize that we're doing it. So it's nice to actually have other people hold you accountable too, to say, hey, you shouldn't be eating that, or you shouldn't be drinking that, or, get your hands off that soda. It's not really good for you,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. It's like, I ask people, have you ever driven home and not remembered if you stopped at a stoplight?
Yeah.
If there was a stoplight, I guarantee you did stop. It's just that your brain knows how to do that unconsciously.
Yep.
So it's not like you ran a bunch of red lights and probably caused a million accidents. It's just, you're so automatic with all the things that you do that you just didn't consciously make that awareness that you were driving.
So you were talking about, the habits that are created. So your client that, she had these habits that were created around food based on, her time at college. And one of the things that I find a lot of my clients struggle with is fear of missing out. So, it was difficult for me when I quit drinking. So when I quit drinking, like my entire life revolved around alcohol. And I had this discussion with these people last month. And because my entire life revolved around alcohol, I had like certain friends and certain bars that I would go to, and there was different days of the week that I, so it was like I was the regular bar fly at different bars, different days of the week, and I had all the people that I talked to. And for me, when I quit drinking, it was hard for me at first because I still wanted to hang out with these people because they were my friends. And they were a part of my life. And so then I stopped drinking and would go. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go and I'll be the designated driver. That was an easy way for me to be like, okay, I can go to the bar. And because I am an upholder, I was like, okay, I won't drink. I'm going to be the designated driver. And when I make a commitment like that, I will stick to it. Yeah. No compromises, none whatsoever. And I knew that's just me. There are very, very few people like me. I have a very high degree of personal integrity, and that's just my makeup. Not a lot of people are like me. But I found that, the more I spent time with these people, the more I realized that they really weren't my friends. And it was easy for me to be able to let them go. A lot of people, that was a really weird situation, and I hung out with a lot of really bad people. And I'm not saying that they're really bad people, but they didn't really have anything to offer me. So I was trying to elevate myself, and they were kind of keeping me, stuck where I was. So it evolved to the next version of myself. I had to let them go because they were just basically weight that were dragging me down. So in order for me to move on, it was easy for me to let them go. Now, I know a lot of people that I talk to, that isn't something that they're very easily or very readily willing to do. And because things, they're trying to stop drinking, they're trying to stop smoking, they're trying to quit eating sugar, they're trying to eat healthier. I have a client who, I've gotten him to eat healthier and go to the gym and do all kinds of stuff. And then he went to a Super Bowl party on Sunday, and he ate way too much and he drank, but he's like, I didn't want to miss out on any of the fun. I didn't want somebody to say, oh, did you try that delicious whatever dip? And him to say, he's like, I didn't want to tell him, no, I didn't try it because I'm trying to eat healthy. So how would you recommend that people, try and deal with, they want to fit in, right? They want to feel like they belong.
Yep.
And
that's the belonging piece. And it takes communication, and it takes selective ways to replace. So for example, your client that went to the Super Bowl party, part of belonging doesn't have to be with food or alcohol. He would have to tap into something. Okay, what team are they rooting for? Okay, I'm gonna associate with people at this party around who's playing the game, what people are doing. I'm gonna engage in conversations with people instead of this food's good or let's have another drink. And usually people don't notice as much as we do. So we feel like we're being an outsider, but they may not even notice like that you didn't eat any dip because they're busy enjoying themselves, and drinking and doing whatever. And I don't notice that you're not drinking because they start drinking and that's normal for them, and they just don't even notice that you're not drinking anymore. And so that's part of the self-sabotage piece that I like to go over with my clients. Those three main things: love, safety, and belonging. So replacing whatever it is. I have a client who she'd have soda and snacks at a certain time of the day. And so I was talking to her and I said, okay, tell me about your family life when you were younger. What was it like for that time of day? Like what was the norm around that time of day? She said that the family would get together and they'd watch movies and they'd have snacks and they'd have junk food. And it was like when the family got together. And so it was that feeling of love and belonging. And I said, okay, tell me something that you can do now that doesn't have to do with snacks and soda at that time of day. And she said, well, I've taken my daughter today, and she said, I didn't crave that stuff when I took them for a walk. And she didn't do it on purpose. It was just, they went for a walk that day and she thought about it and she was like, wow, I said, because you were getting your family time. Like that's what you were associating. The food is associated with belonging and love and family. And so you take the food out and then you replace it with a walk with your girls and you're getting what you need. Your brain is happy. And so and the books that I've read about habits, the trigger or the cue for the habit doesn't change. You have to change the routine. So the cue is there regardless. And I like to use the alarm clock because it's easy. I'm a snooze button person. Love the snooze button. I don't like to get up. But in order to break that, the cue is the alarm. Well, the alarm's always going to go off. That's how I wake up in the morning. I have to somehow break reaching for the snooze button. So I'm clear across the room or outside the door and have it be so loud that I have to get up and walk, clear down the hallway to get it. Whatever I come up with to make that break, to break that, then I can incorporate in a new behavior to replace it.
I like that. It's a really good suggestion.
Yeah, I think it's putting your focus somewhere else. And like you said, with quitting drinking, you realize that those weren't the kind of people that you could associate with. And you're not the only person that said that. I've had other clients the same thing, and they start making changes and improvements. And then all of a sudden they're not enjoying being with the people they did before. And if they tell the people that they're changing and those people accept it and start to be like, hey, what are you doing? I want to do. And then you have other ones that just drop off. And I've had that experience just since I started coaching. There's people that I used to hang out with that I just don't anymore. It just kind of naturally, organically, slowly went away. They haven't called me because they might not feel comfortable with how I am now. Just kind of organically changes.
You want to lose a lot of friends, go vegan.
Oh, I can bet. I can believe it.
All of a sudden, no one wants anything to do with you anymore because they don't know how to feed you. They don't know how to talk to you. Everyone's meant to be in your life forever, honestly. Everyone comes in right when they're supposed to. You learn your lesson. You figure out what you're supposed to learn from them. And then some people you just have to let go.
And I've gained a ton of really important people in my life now that before I started doing coaching that I wouldn't have known. And I appreciate them, and they're in a good place for me. I'm in a good place for them. And like you said, they just were with people and they're in our lives for a purpose and forever, how long that's supposed to be.
Yeah. So I want to kind of wrap up a little bit here because I think we have some really good things that we can work with. But I know you have you've got a workshop that you're doing in a couple weeks here.
The 28th,
what day is it? Like
Friday,
the 28th?
And it's at 1:00 Mountain, and it's going to be online. And anybody that wants to sign up for it, they can sign up on my website. There's a button that says sign up for class. And I'm just going to go over how habits are created, some examples. I'm going to let people talk about maybe a habit they can openly talk about something that they're trying to do, an idea of ways that they can start thinking about it differently to kind of give them that perspective that might help with changing some of those routines that they want to.
That's great. I will post the link to her course in the comments for this video. Just so everybody knows, Suzy is actually my habit change coach. I've been using her as a coach since September, October? Yeah, she's an amazing person. This is not an affiliate promotion. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not. I struggled for 2 years to finish the freaking thing, and she got me to finish it in less than a month.
I know. When you said that was one of your goals, I'm like, oh, okay, it'll be we'll be at the end of 3 months, and you'll be. And then I was shocked because you did it so fast. I was like,
so I got it finished in a month, and she's helped me get change a lot of things. I started working out again. That was something that I really wanted to do, and I just couldn't really. I don't know. I couldn't convince myself, I guess, or whatever, to do it and change. I'd kind of fallen off the health, my thoughts and everything. So even as a mindfulness coach, I know what needs to be done, but that doesn't necessarily mean I always do it. None of us is perfect.
Coaches need coaches.
So
it's how it is.
Right.
I have a coach, and someone told me once, they're like, it's like trying to cut your own hair.
Yeah.
How am I gonna do? Yeah.
Looking like Dumber and Dumber. Dumb and Dumber.
Yep. And it's been a pleasure working with you too. You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
I love being a part of what you're doing.
So, but I just want everybody to know that what you're saying actually works, because there was a lot of things that I was struggling with, and for 2 years I struggled trying to get my book done, and less than a month I had it. It was just amazing. I can't thank you enough for everything you've helped me accomplish. It's truly been a blessing to have you in my life. So but so because I think it's on the first page of your website.
It's right at the top. It says habit change class, the button for the class.
So, and I will probably sign up. So you guys should sign up too, to come and join, and we can work together on changing some habits and figuring out how to get through this mess we call life. Well, it's been awesome talking to you. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
All right.
And I'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye.